Christmas!
Welcome to the Ducks Unlimited podcast, the only podcast about all things waterfowl. From hunting insights to science-based discussions about ducks, geese, and issues affecting waterfowl and wetlands conservation in North America. We bring the resource to you, the DU Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ducks Unlimited podcast. This is the Christmas special. I'm here with my co-host, Katie Burke, and Dr. Mike Brazier. Mike, let's go ahead and start the Christmas special off with explaining exactly what we're doing with the Christmas special of the Ducks Unlimited podcast.
This is something that we wanted to build on from the Thanksgiving episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think in years past, the past couple of years we've done the podcast, we've thought about doing some Christmas episodes, never really followed through with it. And this is, a bit of I think fair to say, a bit of an experimentation in what we're going to try to do here. Within Ducks Unlimited, we're going to be generating a number of other kind of Christmas messages for our members and supporters, and I think people will see those coming out. And this is just another one of the things that we wanted to try. The Ducks Unlimited podcast for the people listening has obviously become something that they are listening to and has become part of maybe their daily routine or weekly routine. And so, just an opportunity for us to share some thoughts about Christmas, maybe some stories of what it means to us, some of our Christmas traditions, and I think one of the things that we will do is even bring in something related to waterfowl management, waterfowl ecology, harvest management, things of that nature, as it intersects with Christmas. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a mix of things here. So that's the way I'm seeing it. Katie, anything to add?
It's the first time all three of us are here together.
That's right. Good point.
And it's a great opportunity for you to wear that ugly shirt.
Hey, this is not an ugly shirt. Can I tell? Do you want me to tell the story?
I do.
So yesterday, not about this shirt. Did you hear the other story?
Oh, no.
So yesterday I come into work with a sweater. Maybe it was 2 days ago. Come into work with a sweater on. It's sort of a Christmas wintry themed sweater. And because it has like snowflakes on it, right?
Yeah.
And so I go into the kitchen and Marcus is in there and say, "Hey, Marcus, how you doing?" I say, "Hey, Brazier, good, nice to see you. I like that sweater." And then he turns and he says, "It's that time of year where you never know if someone is wearing. Where you have to be careful because you don't know if they're wearing an ugly sweater or not." And so, of course, I say, "Marcus, what made you think this was an ugly sweater?" So I had to go and buy something that was clearly not necessarily an ugly sweater or ugly shirt, but definitely festive.
It is
right?
very
It's
festive.
very festive. We should describe it for the listener. It has French bulldogs on it.
Pugs, I think.
Or pugs.
Oh, even better.
Something like
It's
that.
a
I
short
looked for
nose,
labs, but they
small
didn't.
dog in stockings.
With candy canes.
Oh, and with candy canes.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Well, your hat is nice too, Chris.
Hold on, I have to
Thank
touch
you.
it because it looks like cardboard. No, it's soft.
No, I know. It's a nice shirt. So I decided to wear it the entire day.
Yeah.
So, Mike, to kind of kick this off, we were kind of discussing the Christmas episode and trying to figure out how to get a waterfowling angle to this. And you brought up a really good point. That's a stat. You're bringing statistics and science to the DU podcast. So kind of share with our audience exactly what you were talking about in regards to the Christmas holiday.
Well, obviously, Christmas occurs pretty much in the middle of the waterfowl hunting season across North America, and there was an analysis I wasn't actually doing the analysis, but I was part of the group that was sort of an advisory type role, or at least being consulted for the application of what we were looking at here. And the analysis involved breaking down harvest from the different surveys that we conduct across the U.S., both the parts collection survey as well as the hunter diary surveys. Those two surveys are combined to produce estimates of harvest on an annual basis. When you combine data across enough years, you can begin to build a picture of daily harvest. And how it changes over the course of the entire waterfowl hunting season. One of the interesting things that emerged from that analysis, and when you plot the data on a daily basis, is that the lowest harvest day across the entire waterfowl hunting season is Christmas Day. So if you're a duck, your chances of avoiding the gun, of avoiding harvest, is highest of avoiding. The safest day for you as a duck during the waterfowl hunting season is Christmas, whenever you look at the harvest statistics. And so we were kind of thinking about what would be the reasons for that. Chris, you brought up that some of the states close their season specifically for that.
Exactly.
On that day.
Yeah, Arkansas closes Christmas Eve and Christmas, and traditionally that was designed, and now this may not be necessarily true now, but I think originally it was designed to allow the guides, because there's so many guides throughout the state of Arkansas, to not have to go to work on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And they've just kind of stuck with that tradition. And I'll probably have to ask Luke Naylor if that's correct.
Yeah.
But, that was the story that I was told. But, yeah, I mean, Katie, you have some pretty, good experiences hunting on Christmas Day because you grew up hunting in Mississippi and they're open. So ducks are not safe around Katie on Christmas.
No, we have typically always hunted Christmas Day. With my family, we're basically done with like all of our family, like big family gatherings by Christmas morning. So like we have, we open Santa like everybody else, and then we go to my aunt's and we all do breakfast. And by like 10:30, we're done. So my dad has always it started off with just me and him, and we would go hunting every Christmas around like 11, which is weird for us to start at 11, but there's no one out there.
Yeah.
Like you're literally the only people hunting. You don't hear a shot or anything, and we're usually like, it's usually easy. It's like an hour to 2 hour hunt, and we're home by 1. And then over the years, we'd add a cousin or two, and now my husband goes with us, and now we'll bring the kids sometimes just to give them something to do.
And are you successful on those Christmas
Mostly,
Day
yeah.
hunts?
I mean, there are definitely, if it's a bluebird, clear, cold Christmas day, yeah, we're successful. Because you just call to them and they come, because there's no one else out there. But if it's cloudy and rainy, sometimes we'll just kind of like go out and just look in the truck, which, it's Christmas, so we probably have a beverage, and we'll just kind of look and be like, not today. Like, and then we'll go back home and watch a Christmas movie. But yeah, usually if it's a pretty day, we're out, we're done in about an hour. Because it's only 2 of us, so 4 ducks doesn't take.
I guess so. Christmas or hunting was never, that I recall, a big part of any of our Christmas traditions. We were one of the families that would take the day off, give the animals a rest, I suppose, and we would we would usually have a couple of family gatherings on Christmas Day, so we wouldn't have the opportunity to finish up everything and then even go out for afternoon hunt or anything like that. What about you, Chris?
As I got older, I think my dad and I would hunt some afternoons on Christmas, but never Christmas morning. I know we definitely hunted Christmas Eve morning. That was pretty regular. When I was younger, and no, absolutely not. I was sitting around waiting on Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about going duck hunting.
It is interesting because we had our Thanksgiving special, and I think there are more hunting-related traditions around that Thanksgiving date than there are Christmas.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun to reflect on those.
Yeah, for sure. We have a lot for Thanksgiving as well. But so I don't hunt. My family hunts Christmas Eve, but I don't, because I always help my mom in the kitchen because we always have a big party and everything. So I always stay behind to help out and get the house clean. But, it's interesting, to think about that way but we live 10 minutes from our duck hole. I don't know if it'd necessarily be that way if we had to make more of an effort to go. We just can. Literally, we just put our waders in the back of the truck and go to Christmas and leave our Christmas pajamas on and go. We don't make much of an effort to actually.
Are you like some of those hunters that wear costumes in the blind? You have your hat on, like Chris has his elf hat on. Are you wearing that? You going to take that hunting?
I probably will not.
You should.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this hat.
It'll be warm.
Yeah, but I'm also a bigger fan of actually shooting ducks, and so this hat might deter that.
I don't know.
No,
Shovelers.
They're under the hunting clothes. You can't. The ducks can't see our Christmas pajamas.
How about you, Mike? What were some of your any traditions, even if just around Christmas, something that would really relate? You mentioned birds were a major part of your life, even when you were young. Share with us a couple of those stories.
They were, and I I don't know if this had some subliminal effect on my career path, but it is an interesting story. And I actually brought an item, a Christmas ornament here that features prominently in this story. It was my grandmother's on my dad's side. And for those that listened to our Thanksgiving episode, you will remember I talked about how my grandparents, both sets of grandparents, live within a block of one another. And so we would go to one for lunch and then one for dinner. And we would do the same for Christmas. And we had larger gatherings at Christmas. My cousins from all across Mississippi and from Indiana, even from Vincennes area, they would drive down. And so we had large gatherings at both of those houses for Christmas. And we would go to my grandmother and granddaddy on my dad's side for lunch. And it was, we don't have to go through all the meals again, but it was just sort of traditional Christmas meals. But the one thing that stood out, I mean, there's a lot of memories, right, around for family Christmases and gatherings. But the one thing that stood out and was unique about my grandmother's house there for lunch is that when we would walk in, we would hear this bird chirping from the tree. It's an ornament that she would plug in and hide deep within the tree. And of course, as kids, we would try to find it. And it was so well hidden, so well camouflaged that it was just like this big mystery as to where it was. And we would look for it, and finally we would find it. But the joke is that everybody would get tired of it within about 20 or 30 minutes, or maybe even a shorter amount of time than that. And so I have it here. I'm going to plug it in for the people to hear. But yeah, it's a chirping bird. Bring it closer to the microphone.
Oh my.
And so it's kind of a piercing.
And
it just repeats that over
and it
over,
never stops.
And it never
it's
stops
not like
unless
motion
you plug
sensor
it in.
or anything.
Nope. Until you unplug it. And so eventually one of the parents or one of the adults would get tired of it and somebody would yell, "Unplug that bird." So both my grandparents have passed, and like usually happens, people will ask for certain possessions that they had in their house, and I wanted this.
That's perfect.
So we sometimes we put it in our Christmas tree now. But what we do, and I'm leaving this.
You should probably just go the whole time. Our producer's probably going to just cut that out.
But what we better not. But what I have to do now every Christmas is I will, usually early in the morning, I have a recording of this on my phone, a little WAV file, and I will text it to every member of my family. And of course, they will play it. And it makes Christmas complete for them. So that's pretty cool. And, just takes me back to that time and makes that pretty unique connection with birds.
I have a question.
I'll unplug it now.
I have a question.
Please.
Did your grandmother give in and tell people where it was, or did she hold on to
Oh, no.
joke?
She would, not that I remember, she would say, it's in there. I know it's usually deep behind the tree and,
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty cool ornament. And that's a cool story, Mike. We've talked about that a lot with even the Thanksgiving episode where we relate all of this to family and holidays, but there's so much that goes on as far as even waterfowl and waterfowling, and we can relate. We're just trying to tie all of that together here. Katie, did you have any other cool Christmas stories that you wanted to share?
I'm interested in the movies. You mentioned movies that after you're hunting, you'd go back and watch a movie.
So another tradition has to do with movies. We really like matching Christmas pajamas in my family. It all started like when I was in high school, and we've stuck strong. So one thing we also do after we go hunting, we go to the movies. Every Christmas in our pajamas. We have no shame. And yeah, we go to the movies every year. Since now that I have kids and we have little kids, like we'll see, kids movies, but we've seen, everything. But we go to the movies on Christmas Day every night. And we do it every year. So not necessarily Christmas movies, but we do always go to the movies.
Do we want to ask what our favorite Christmas movies are?
Want to poll? Well, mine's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, Chris?
Christmas Vacation's up there, but I do count Die Hard as a Christmas movie.
That would lead to an entire debate.
That's a whole
debate.
debate.
That's why I threw it out there.
I don't have a strong opinion on that.
I don't either.
So Christmas for me, I would say Christmas Vacation. I would also say, and this is because this is my wife's favorite Christmas movie, Christmas Story. That was one that we never watched growing up, but it's one that she watches and now we both watch every year for Christmas. The other one for me is It's a Wonderful Life, and that there was a number of years there where I, along with some of my high school friends and church friends, would go over to our youth director's house and we would watch It's a Wonderful Life and we did that for, I don't know if it's quite 10 years, but it was for a number of years.
As far as Christmas movies go, my family was really big into watching Christmas movies. It wasn't something that we always had to sit down and do on that day, but we would watch them throughout the whole holiday season. And I think White Christmas is right up there, the traditional White Christmas. But A Christmas Story, it's funny that you mentioned that. Being from Indiana, that actually, that was a lot. Like my grandfather really liked that movie because
he probably has one of the lamps.
He probably did. Yeah, no, but that's kind of like right in his time frame, and so that movie was pretty awesome. And looking back on it, the kid wanted the Red Ryder BB gun, and everyone told him he hurt himself. Well, that kind of rolls into my next story that. As I grew up hunting with my dad, I always had borrowed my uncle or dad or grandfather's shotguns or whatever. And I got a Mossberg 500 trophy version 20 gauge for when I was 12 years old at Christmas. And I've referenced it on the podcast many times because I still shoot that gun today. It's one of those ones that I shoot a different gun and I'm not comfortable with it and miss a whole bunch. I'll go back and get that same gun out. And so that was like my Christmas when I was 12. And I thought, and we even shot it that day. We went out and shot it there and, on Christmas Day. It was so cool. I'll never forget that. But did you have any Christmas gifts or anything like that?
Yeah, best gifts from Santa Claus.
The one that stands out in my mind, I guess, would be a 3-wheeler. You couldn't give away
like a big red.
Yeah, like a big red.
Nice.
I don't know why, but that one does.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about that a little bit. I don't know, Rebecca. My wife asked me that occasionally. What were some special gifts that you remember receiving at Christmas? And I don't know. I don't have any other than the 3-wheeler that are just that form such a profound memory for me. I hope that doesn't offend my mom or my dad, or my dad's passed, but my mom, that doesn't offend my mom. But no, we always had a good Christmas, and the big red 3-wheeler that we got that one year was probably the one that stands out. Now, that 3-wheeler ultimately was the cause of a broken foot.
I was going to say broken collarbone.
Some sort of broken.
Those big reds were broken collarbones in a package. It was guaranteed.
Yeah. So, what about y'all,
well,
Katie?
Well, I'm the only girl here, so this will really say that. I loved the movie and the book, The Little Princess, and I got, y'all won't even probably know what this is referring to, but she has a doll in it. Her name is Emily. And I got her and like all of her dresses, and I was super pumped. I came in, I remember seeing it. It was beautiful. I loved it. And actually, I think it's still around today.
Well, yeah, I can't relate to that.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, I did not get a Little Princess. But I think as I got older, my Christmas gifts transitioned. It was kind of, looking back on it, just even for this show, kind of thinking about that. My Christmas gifts transitioned from toys to, packs of Winchester ammo, and you know what I mean? Like as I got older, squirrel loads, duck loads, things like slugs, deer slugs. So that's kind of how, I relate that to the holidays and also relating it to the hunting season. So
I think part of the reason why I have a difficult time singling out a Christmas gift that means so much to me is, for whatever reason, I kind of confuse them with birthday presents. My birthday was November, so not too far from Christmas. But I think there was one year where my brother and I both received Browning A5 Belgium-made 20 gauge. And
Nice.
so
Nice.
if I am correct in
That's
that memory,
fancy.
that kind of has to go to the top of the
that's
list now that I
nice.
reflect
I
on it.
never got
but-
any guns for Christmas as the second hunter child in the family.
You didn't?
No, I got hand-me-downs. So I never had there was never a gun gift. I got the first time I got my own gun was in college. Yeah. No, I take that back. That's a lie. I got a
That's a
.243
lie.
rifle.
A 240? 240?
243.
243, yeah.
And my niece and nephew and them all still shoot at deer hunting today. So
Yeah.
it's still out there.
And Mike, thanks for, really throwing the wet towel on my Mossberg 520
Yeah.
gauge. Oh, by the way, I got a
Browning
matching set of
A5.
Browning A5s. Yeah. all
Yeah,
right,
that's much
cool.
nice. I thought that. Do y'all remember the DU Whistler, the 20 gauge Whistler? Do y'all remember that? Yeah, that's what I shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At this point, we're going to pause to bring you some Christmas music performed by our very own staff here at Ducks Unlimited's national headquarters. First will be Here Comes Santa Claus, performed by David Schuessler on vocals and guitar, Craig Lashak on guitar, Joe McCleary on drums, and Chris Isaac on bass. Then after that, we will have Mary Did You Know, sung by our very own Miss Ashley Holiday.
A one, a two, a one, two. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeers pulling on the reins. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. So hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He's got a bag that's filled with toys for boys and girls again. Hear those sleigh bells jingle, jangle, oh what a beautiful sight. So jump in bed and cover your head, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. All right, boys, let's jingle jangle. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He'll come around when chimes ring out that it's Christmas time again. Peace on earth will come to all if we just follow the light. So let's give thanks to the Lord above, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm a storm your little baby. You kiss the face of God. Mary, did you know? Oh, oh, Mary, did you know? Did you know that the blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again, the lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb? Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the nation? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? This sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. Mary, did you know? Oh, Mary, did you know?
Dear Ducks Unlimited supporter,
What can you say to someone who has given so much?
Someone who works so hard to make the world a better place for all of us.
Thank you doesn't seem like it's enough, but it's a start.
Whether you've supported Ducks Unlimited for decades, months, or days,
You're part of the DU family.
A family that believes we all have a role to play.
family that's passionate about getting involved and becoming part of the solution.
A family that remains committed to leaving a conservation legacy for our children and our children's children.
There's always room at our table for family. And this Christmas, we've reserved the best seat at the head of the table just for you.
thank you for joining us as we celebrate a monumental year for wetlands conservation.
And give thanks for the incredible progress we've made for waterfowl, wildlife,
And our communities.
Every acre that we've conserved is a victory.
And together, we've conserved over 15 million acres.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you've done, everything you do, and everything you will do
To ensure that the Ducks Unlimited family
Remains true to our conservation roots, our outdoor heritage,
And our tradition of preserving and protecting.
everything we hold dear.
Like I said at the beginning, part of what we wanted to do is, to the small extent that it might, people that would listen to this when it comes out, maybe it helps them reflect on things that are important to them around Christmas, some of the traditions that they may have had. Heck, who knows? It may inspire some folks to sit around the fire at the Duck Club and trade stories
Absolutely.
about what Christmas means to them. One of the things that did pop into my head that was always a tradition for us and continues to be whenever I go visit my mom and Bruce is a candlelight vigil on Christmas Eve at our church. I know Christmas is very special to a lot of people in that regard, and that was always something that we enjoyed and still do. I think if Christmas is on a Sunday or something, they would suspend the service and they would just do the candlelight vigil the night before. And it's obviously that was a big part and continues to be a big part of what Christmas means to us.
Yeah, and I think that's important to stress here. The reason why we're having this holiday or Christmas episode is really just to get people, in the mindset and in conjunction with, Ducks Unlimited podcast and to honestly say Merry Christmas to our DU family. I mean, I think that's important, all across the board. The three of us, talk to people within DU, outside of DU, we kind of work within the industry, I guess I should say. And this is a good opportunity to say Merry Christmas to all of them.
Absolutely.
Before we get out of here though, let's go ahead and share. I wanted to know, Mike, like what your plans were for Christmas this year. Just kind of set the stage and here's where I'll be, and probably recording podcasts all day on Christmas Day, right?
Not that I know of. If so, we may have to talk. I don't think we have any special plans this year. It is interesting that as we age and we go from our childhood years, I was talking to my mom about this just a couple of weeks ago, as we go from our younger years to adults, what we do on Christmas or any of the holidays, it necessarily changes, right? Mm-hmm. Because family members pass away, people get married, people have kids, people move away, and those traditions that we grew up with, and for some of us, and some people are fortunate enough to still live close enough or in the same city as where they grew up and where all their family live, but others experience a situation where everybody moves away, and there's this sort of all these different traditions that emerge for people. And so that's sort of the case with us, with Rebecca, my wife's family being from Canada. We, for the past 2 or 3 years, we have been unable to meet with them, get together for Christmas. So that's a bit of a disappointment. We were hoping that Rebecca's mom would be able to come down and join us, but COVID is still kind of complicating the international travel issues, some uncertainty around that. So there will probably be some combination of my family in Mississippi and maybe other family that I have here in Memphis getting together at some point for just a Christmas gathering, hopefully at our house. And that has not yet been solidified yet, so we're a bit up in the air on that. But other than that type of gathering, I don't think we have any special plans right now. Katie?
Weirdly enough, my Christmas hasn't changed at all. So to say that though, Andrew's from Massachusetts, so obviously his family isn't here. They're actually coming this week. His parents are, and we do a little mini thing with them. But we kind of decided when we got married that it's just so hard to travel back and forth that we just split it permanently and we go there for other holidays. And we always do Christmas here, and Christmas has always been kind of the big one in my family. So we kind of are the same that it's been since I was kids, but we just added people. So we, I'll be in Charleston, Mississippi with my family at my parents', with my siblings and their spouses and their kids and their dogs. So many dogs.
Santa Claus. Santa Claus comes there.
Santa Claus comes for all 6 of them.
That was the thing that always had to be negotiated anytime family members were from out of town. Is Santa Claus going to deliver here? Are we going to deliver back home?
Yeah.
They all go to Noni and Pops' house, and they go for all 6 grandchildren. And I mean, not to spoil it. So if you're in the car with any kids, I have a really good tradition that we started as adults. And one of the things that we do, me and my siblings, after we put all the kids to bed, we all help each other put Santa Claus together, and we watch Christmas movies.
And drink eggnog.
At that point, we've already had a party, so it's kind of a mixed beverage. Some people are onto coffee, because it depends on what they got to put together.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've had to put together presents longer because my kids are the youngest and they have the oldest, so I've been putting presents together for a long time, and they owe me some years. So that's kind of our Christmas. We do the same thing Christmas Eve. We have my extended family over. We go to church. They come over after. We do Santa Claus in the morning, and then we all go to an even bigger extended family breakfast, and then we're done and ready to hunt by 10:30.
It's awesome. Chris?
This year's going to be really different for us because my wife and I, neither one of us have any family nearby. My parents are down in South Florida. My sister's in Indiana. Her family's all in Indiana. And so this year we decided, we just kind of talked about it, and my parents were like, hey, we're going to come to you for Christmas. So this will be the first time we quit traveling for Christmas once we had kids, because it was kind of one of those deals where Santa Claus. We wanted Santa Claus to come to our house. Once they got old enough to realize what was going on, then we wanted Santa Claus to come to our house. So we've kind of just stayed. And sometimes we've done Christmas with, new traditions come about where, we had friends come over from people from here in Memphis that we hang out with, and we play games and do that. But this year, my parents are going to come in town, and that should be good. We're going to do a little bit different, less traditional holiday dinner, I guess, for my family. We're going to be getting a sack of oysters and some shrimp, and we're going to be making gumbo on Christmas Eve. And so and some of my friends are coming over, and they have fryers, and so we're going to be frying oysters and shrimp and then boiling shrimp. And so we're just going to sit around and hang out on Christmas Eve, and probably on Christmas we'll play games with the girls after Santa Claus has already come and gone. And so I'm just kind of looking forward to really being at my house with my family.
Are you going to wear your Cousin Eddie costume?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
right out in front of my RV. Yeah. My RV will be parked out front.
That's what made me think of
I
it,
know,
right? Just
I know.
dump right into the sewer.
That's exactly right. The funny part about that is when my dad's flying in, and he probably hasn't duck hunted in 3 or 4 years because now he lives in South Florida, and he's like, it's too early and too cold for me to do that. But he's like, I'd like to go duck hunting this year. And I'm like, cool. He's flying in on the 23rd. Arkansas is closed the 24th, 25th, and he's flying out the morning of the 26th. So I'm having to explain to him, like, hey, not very good timing if you want to go duck hunting. We want you here for Christmas, but not good timing to go duck.
Take another extended day.
That's right, extended day.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're going to take another break here to bring you more Christmas music from our very own Ducks Unlimited staff. First off is an all-time Christmas favorite, Little Drummer Boy, being performed by David Schusler, Craig Leshack, Joe McCleary, Chris Isaac, Ashley Holiday, and Phil Pooks. Up next after that is going to be Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, sung by Phil Pooks. We hope you enjoy these songs as much as we have enjoyed producing them.
Come, they told me, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, to lay before the king, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. So to honor him, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, when we come. Little baby, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, I am a poor boy too, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I have no gifts to bring, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, that's fit to give our king, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. Shall I play for you, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum? Mary nodded, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. The ox and lamb kept time, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, your troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, your troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we'll always be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
You got any favorite Christmas meal, like food?
No, I really don't. Pretty boring in that regard. Yeah, I'm coming up with nothing because like our Christmas lunch and dinner was always traditional. You know, the dessert, I guess, was falling asleep in a recliner or something like that. Actually, I have another story just came to me. You want to hear it?
I do.
We do.
So this was at my mom's grandparents, my nanny and granddaddy. Every year, our nanny would make the grandkids. There were 7 of us. She would make us put on a play for
That's
the
pretty
family.
good. Yeah.
And I'm gonna kill myself for not remember this. It was the name of the and we would have to come up with it. We would have to make it up. We would we would all get together as first cousins and we would come up with the script and who's playing what part and we have it recorded on the old
Yeah, we need that.
VHS.
We need that
we need
recording.
that.
This is gonna be good.
And there was I think we did it more than one year. I think I said a minute ago that we did it every year. I don't know if that is true. I know we did it one year, maybe a couple years, but the one year that really stands out was the name of the play was A Joke on Santa Claus. We set a trap for Santa Claus, and so we carried it out. And of course, some of the adults were having fun with us because one of my cousins was playing the father in this play, and of course, we're all like anywhere from 7 to 12 or 13 years old, something like that. And so my cousin Chuck lives here. No, he actually lives in Mississippi now. But he created a fake mustache with some mascara or some kind of makeup. And so his dad yells out at him while he was trying to carry out his line that he had practiced so hard to memorize. His dad yells out, "Looks like you've been eating some chocolate pudding up there." And so his son gets mad and starts yelling at him and all that. And so anyway, that was I watch that video every now and then. It was a favorite memory. And then we went up the road to my grandparents, my granddaddy and grandmother's house on my dad's side and performed that same play up there. So
cool. No,
there you go. Early performance.
Yet
Early
another.
performance.
Yeah. Yet another.
I had a real small part, a little corny part where I think I forget what I did. I forget my lines in that, but anyway,
Where are you in the cousin lineup? Are you at the end?
Oh, I'm pretty much in the middle, I think. Yeah.
They didn't have much confidence in you to give you many lines.
No. Was I Santa Claus? I think I might have been Santa Claus.
That's a real easy line.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only one line.
No, the cheesy line. Here's the real cheesy line. So I think I was Santa Claus. They had set a bell out, and that was the trap. And so whenever I knocked over the bell, although everybody would wake up and they would catch me as Santa Claus, and so I knocked the bell over. And so my line was, well, you caught me. We might as well sing some Christmas carols.
You didn't even say ho, ho, ho?
I think I might have. I don't know.
All right. Well, we got to see that video.
That's my memory of it
anyway.
anyway.
See that video.
Yeah, yet another fond Christmas memory that we've shared here. But, I think that was the idea of all of this, was to just kind of chit-chat about Christmas, the season, what it means to us. And we've definitely learned that Christmas is, as far from a conservation perspective, Christmas is officially the safest day for the ducks.
Safest day to be a duck and during the hunting season. Yep. And now a special holiday message from our CEO, Adam Putnam.
As 2021 winds down and all of us prepare to spend the holidays with family and friends, all of us here at Ducks Unlimited wanted to take a moment to thank you, our members, our volunteers, our listeners, our supporters, for everything that you've done to make this a record-breaking year for habitat conservation. We wish you and your family a safe and healthy and happy holiday season, and let's get ready for an exciting 2022.
Mike, Katie, this has been fantastic. I hope our audience enjoys just a little bit of Christmas chatter, on the DU podcast today. And I personally want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'd like to thank my co-host, Katie Burke, and Dr. Mike Brazier for joining us today. I'd like to thank our producer, Chris Isaac, for putting the podcast together and getting it out to you. And I'd like to thank you, the listener, for joining us on the DU podcast and supporting wetlands conservation.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the DU Podcast. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. And visit www.ducks.org/DU Podcast for resources based on today's topics, as well as access to more episodes. Opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of Ducks Unlimited. Until next time, stay tuned to the Ducks.